Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another edition of Looking Forward. In this series, I do a quick recap of what we've done since the last update and then let you know kind of what we have planned for the month ahead. You know, when I started this series, I wanted to do once a month, and already from January, this is the February-March edition. So I missed February. Actually, a lot of plans for February didn't really end up panning out the way that we wanted to. If you watched the previous video, my wife and I were going to go camping in Pisgah National Forest for a birthday. We had a bunch of rain and bad weather, so it wasn't a bad weekend at all. We actually had a really good birthday weekend here. We just didn't get to go camping, so that was kind of unfortunate. But it doesn't mean that February was bad. We actually had a really good February. But I want to back up a little bit from that. Shortly after I posted the last video in this series, I started noticing a kind of a grinding noise in my steering box. I have a Jeep JK, it's a 2015 JKU, for those of you that don't know. But I started hearing this noise and kind of narrowed it down to my steering box. Now, given the fact that I had plans to go to 37-inch tires or 40-inch tires somewhere in the near future, I didn't want to just replace that with stock component. So I did some research, I was looking around at different options, and ultimately I decided to go with the XD2. It's a PSC Big Bore XD2 steering box, but I also got their pump and reservoir. It all kind of came in a kit. So very late January, I drove down to Beaufort in Georgia to BlackBear Off-Road, and my buddy Brad and I put that in, and man, I gotta tell you, it made a huge difference. I can steer the 35s right now with my pinky, so I mean it's super easy to steer. There's no more noises or no more sounds, no more grinding obviously, but that steering box is probably about twice the weight. I think it's got like an 85 millimeter piston, so I mean it's huge and a lot of power. So I have full confidence going from 35s I'm on now to 37s or 40s in the future. So anyway, fast forward just a little bit to mid-February, so the 19th of February, myself, a couple of guys from S3 Magazine, Willie and Jesse, my buddy Chris, who's from E3 Spark Plugs, Brad from BlackBear Off-Road, and a whole bunch of guys from the BlackBear Off-Road trail team decided to go back to Windrock. We had a blast, we camped, but man, it turned into quite the adventure. What Jesse, Chris, and I decided that we were going to go out to Panther Rock, which is on Trail 51, a Jeep Badge of Honor trail. I had been on that trail before, and it was a moderate trail, nothing too crazy. But you add in 4 days of rain previous to it, and it completely changes the conditions. What we thought was going to be a couple-hour trip ended up being a 6-hour endeavor. We were on the trail. GPS was kind of lagging behind. We kind of passed the turnoff to where we needed to be, or we thought we were. In one particular spot, we had already passed the turnoff to the main trail, so we were actually going downhill a little bit. So much so that when we tried to turn around to get back out, nobody had traction. All-terrain tires, mud-terrain tires, Jeeps. Chris has a Tacoma. Nobody had traction. So even though it was maybe a 20-degree incline, we had to winch ourselves out of that situation, kind of 20 feet, 30 feet, 50 feet at a time. So it's good to be prepared. It's good to kind of know your equipment and know that it's functioning. But I think I didn't film very much in that trip, to be quite honest with you. Like, I didn't film at all, really. maybe just a couple of clips the next day. But Jesse got a ton of footage from that, and he's actually shared some things of that trip, the footage with me. Got a good laugh out of it. But check out S3 Magazine. He works for S3 Magazine. They're going to be putting out a video sometime really soon, and you'll see what I'm talking about. That the terrain was just mud and no traction at all. It's kind of like peanut butter, sticky but yet slick, to where you couldn't even walk on it. So anyway, eventually we got back to camp, and the very next day we all went as a group. We ran Trail 24 to get to 26, which is another Jeep Badge of Honor trail. Again, with the conditions, it changed the game. It was a mess. We had a wonderful time, don't get me wrong, we absolutely had a wonderful time. But there's a section on Trail 24 in Windrock Park that is unlike anything else that I've really been on. It would all of a sudden went from muddy mountain roads with little bits of hill climbs every once in a while to what I would consider full-on rock crawling. Now, I'm okay with scratches. You know, you're going through the forest, or you're going through down the forest road, you get some little gravel scratches or branches, scratch up your paint. But dents, that's a whole other thing, to me anyway. So I don't know how you feel about it, but let me know in the comments. Dents or scratches, do they matter to you? Now keep in mind, this is my daily driver. This is a vehicle that I have invested a lot of time and money in, and I don't like seeing big dents in it. So I'll be taking care of that. But the dents came from one particular section on Trail 24 when there was just enough space to pivot between a rock wall and a gigantic rock on the passenger side. So what ended up happening was I had to get through and use one of my rear fenders to pivot around that rock, and the resulting, or what resulted from that was it was a ripple dent on the rear passenger portion. So my fender is all kinds of scratched up, and that's fine with me because I'm going to be replacing those here in the near future. But yeah, and it kind of bummed me out when I noticed it. All the guys were like, because it was so muddy, they're like, "Oh yeah, no damage," and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty messed up. So I've got to take care of that soon. And the funny thing is I think out of maybe 8 vehicles, I think maybe 1 or 2 made it through that without any damage at all. But there was a tail light ripped off. There was this guy Kyle actually was trying to go up a section of the trail, and he kind of three-wheeled it for a second and came down really hard on a pointed rock. It did not flatten his tire. It punctured a fist-sized hole in the wheel itself. So through all the efforts that a lot of people were putting in to kind of reseat the bead, it was all for naught. So it was an interesting time. So again, check out S3 Magazine's video. I'm sure that part's going to be in there. But also Brad, if you follow him at all, Jeep and Bubba on YouTube, I think Instagram and Facebook as well, you'll be able to. He's going to be putting out a video as well. I'm sure it'll be a lot more detail. Anyway, shortly after that, I went to 10 Tracks, starting up a new series as well, where I'm doing shop tours. So I went to 10 Tracks. He is in Black Mountain, North Carolina, which is about 15 minutes from me, just east of Asheville. And we did it like a grill out, chill out kind of thing with a couple of friends there. And he just told me about 10 Tracks and the Ascend trailer that recently, I don't know if you know this, but I think it was what was it? It was camperreport.com actually just named them the #1 off-road trailer. And that was the Ascend, which is it's an awesome trailer. And honestly, if I was in the market for a trailer, that's the one that I would go for. It's definitely fairly priced. It's very convenient to have a base camp, rather than having a rooftop tent or something heavy when you're going to be going on some more difficult trails. So if you're already lifted on larger tires, you don't want to have a ton of weight up top. So a trailer is a really good option for that. Just to have a base camp is super convenient to do that. So if you haven't watched that video, just check that out. It was the video I posted just previous to this one. So yeah, go definitely check that out. And I guess now we'll kind of transition to what's upcoming, right? So in March, I'm kind of looking forward to going to a couple of different events. Speaking of the shop tours, I'm going to go back to Georgia, go to Beaufort, and go to BlackBear Off-Road and do a shop tour with Brad, so he can tell you the story of BlackBear Off-Road, kind of when they started, and then kind of what they're planning on doing, and obviously a shop tour, doing that. And then the very next day, or actually later on that day, I'll be heading out with the BlackBear Off-Road trail team to the Dawson Forest to do a trail cleanup. It's really important if you're out there in the off-road community and you're going out there and tearing up trails and just damaging the forest, roads are going to get closed. So this is an effort by BlackBear Off-Road and the trail team to make sure that we are going out and leaving things better than we found it, and kind of fostering that relationship with the Forest Service so that we do not end up getting more and more trails closed. It's taking away public land because people don't appreciate it or don't treat it accordingly. So if you're one of those people that are going out there and just throwing trash or messed around where you shouldn't be, just stop, because it's taking away so much from people that actually go out there and enjoy it, get to go camping with their families and so on. When these roads get shut down, it's just taking away the access to some very beautiful and amazing places, and it's our public land, so take care of it, or else it will get taken away from us. Just before that, potentially on the 20th, there's something here in Nashville. I think it's in a lot of places, and that's Rigs and Coffee. I'm not a big coffee person, but this organization of sorts is put together to bring the overland and camping community together to meet each other, kind of discuss their rigs and their camping setups and things, and then also helping to support smaller businesses. So there's a coffee roaster or coffee company that is sponsoring this event. It's held at a brewery, like a beer brewery called Mills River here in Nashville. So I'm looking forward to going to that. Hopefully I can make it there before I head down to Georgia. But if you're looking for an event like that in your area, I know Atlanta has like Cars and Coffee, and I know they have Scottles and Bottles and a couple of other events like that. I think you can go to I think it's rigscoffee.org, and that way you can actually search and see where this event is happening near you, or if it's happening near you at all. So that's pretty much it for March. We're going to do the shop tour, like I said. I'm looking forward to the videos from Windrock coming out. We're going to do the Dawson Forest cleanup and Rigs and Coffee. And the next big trip in the future is going to be going to Nemo Tunnel near the Catoosa Wildlife Management Area in Tennessee. I'm going to be doing that with a couple of friends and camping and just really having a good time out there. But that's it. That's the plans for the future. Nothing too crazy. I might actually go explore Forest Road 288 here locally. And I might try to do sometime in the next month and a half, I might try to do the North Carolina section of the Trans-America Trail, which actually starts in Damascus, Virginia, and kind of moves down really close to where I live, and maybe just a little bit west of here. So those are the things to check out. But before I go, I just want to say, make sure you check out S3 Magazine on social. Go to s3mag.com. They've actually got a cool magazine subscription deal right now where you can get the print edition of the magazine. I think it's a 2-year subscription, a t-shirt, stickers, and so on for $20. That's a really cool deal. Make sure if you're on Facebook to go to BlackBear Off-Road Trail Team, search for that. If you're into Jeeps, trucks, off-roading, anything like that, check out the page, join the community. There's no dues, there's no anything like that. It's really just trying to create an actual community that's not focused on clubs and exclusion. It's more inclusive and helping people come together to explore more, to get the knowledge that they need before they hit the trail, and then also doing these cleanups and fostering good relationships with the Forest Service so that we can keep the trails open. So definitely check those out, and check out the video from 10 Tracks from Brent. If you're in the market for a trailer, definitely check them out as an option. All right, so that wraps up this edition of Looking Forward. I really hope that you guys are planning something for the future to get out and enjoy nature. But if you have any questions, obviously questions, comments, leave those below. Like and subscribe to the channel, share the channel if you'd like to, if you found any value from this. But other than that, again, I hope this video finds you well, and we'll be seeing you on the trail.